just start all over again?
Yeah. Okay.
It's fine when you're ready.
I'm ready.
Ready?
Yeah.
My name is Michael Gonzalez. I'm with Dynamic Service Solutions Incorporated. I'm here at 324 Fifth Avenue North. I'm here to do the evaluation from the inside to the outside of the property. First thing we'll start with is the structure of the property. The structure is not sound. As you can see right here with the camera, this is the only structure holding up the building. By code, you have to have block all the way through. This goes around for the entire property. Also, too, is if you look too on all of the window seals is completely rotted. This too behind here will be rotted as well if these are rotted because the water gets in there. The plumbing on the outside is not up to code. As you can see, nothing is secured to the building. Everything is disconnected. That's another big thing, and that is in around the whole entire property as well. Next issue that you have on the outside of the property is the electrical. The electrical is not up to code. They don't have their proper wiring. The wiring is from almost back in the 40s and 50s, so it has to bring brought up to code. You're talking about a whole house being redone. Very expensive for that. Next thing is, once again, with your sewers, it's all cast iron. You have to remove these from the outside. They're all rusted and rotted out. There's sewage coming out of the pipes. If you want to get clearly on that one right there, you can see the crack in it. Also, here's your plumbing again. Down here, it's not all to code. Your shut-off switch, your shut-off valves are completely painted together. You cannot turn those off and turn them on. That is a no-no by code. Also, too, all of these have outside AC units. They do not have them drained properly, so the water has gone into the walls and now has totally deteriorated the walls structure from top to bottom, which is very unsafe for the top ones because now the building is leaning on top of the other building, and you can see there's no structure to hold it up. All of the buildings are leaning on the bottom ends, and this is what's causing this is because the building is shifting because there's no support to hold them. And you can't have that on the solid ground. You have to have a level line of support, and all you have here is just one block of brick that was probably from the original house. Also, from the inside, from what I've seen, there's not too much structure damage inside, but then again, I can't see a lot of it because a lot of it is cover up. What I mean by cover up is that there is wood paneling walls everywhere below the AC units. There's also fake tile, what they call hardy board, that they've covered up to, which indicates to me that there is rot behind that wall. So what they're doing is they're just covering it up as they go. They probably took the drywall off. They saw that it was rotted. I can't tell if they've ever fixed it. I doubt 99% of my experience says that they've never fixed it. They just covered it up. All of the plumbing inside has to be refixed. It's not up to code. All of the electrical has to be refixed from start to from below to top. None of it's up to code. They used the wrong wiring. They ran off a different, instead of going to junction boxes to run certain lights and certain appliances, which we all know if you have your stove or your microwave or anything, refrigerator, you have to have your own circuit run to the board. They're running off of the switches. That's not up to code. That could be a fire hazard. Also, there's numerous spots where there's wood rot. There is a patio in the front of the building, second floor, that's completely rotted out. Also, if you see the pictures, there's also a canopy that's above it that is coming down probably at almost a 90-degree angle of rot from the above building. That's a major structure damage that's going to fall very, very soon. Also, what I found in a couple of rooms actually was black mold. One so severe that I couldn't even stay in there more than 3 seconds. That's terrible. That means that that the spores on it have advanced to its maximum potential if you can't stay in there and breathe more than 3 seconds. That right there alone is going to be a major restoration because you have to come in, you have to seal off the whole building, you have to have proper people come in Tyvek suits, you have to have them take the materials out in specific bags. You have to spray it down with the wood, and you have to replace the wood. Very expensive, very time consuming. Also, what I found is the bathrooms, all of them have to be updated. All of the plumbing in those need to be updated. Majority of the plumbing, there's a bunch of gnats and bugs. That means that there's waste still sitting in there, so that means that there's a backup issue in the drainage system and the sewer system. So that on one hand has to be addressed. Two, very expensive with that too. That means that the piping in here is old. That's very expensive to fix. Now you're having to you're gonna have to tear out walls and floors to get this all up to code. Also, what else I saw in there was the walls actually too with the paneling. I don't know how to address that, but that's another thing, is completely having to take all those out. You don't know what's behind them. That's a scary part. It's like peeling layers off of an onion. You don't know what you're going to get until you peel those off. Moving to the back of the building, the washroom that's at hand, that building is completely trashed. There is no structure holding that building up. The plumbing needs to be redone on that. All of the electrical is not up to code whatsoever. The water heater that's in the back is not correctly hooked up. Back in the back of the laundry room, you have bays for storage. The rot has gone so bad that now the wall is completely deteriorated to where you can see adjoining rooms to the next room. You should never have that. The doors on it's completely rotted out from the front of the view. It's not a flood zone, so this is just old and not being taken care of. There's a building to the left of it now. Then we move to the left of it. It's another 2 occupancy residence. The plumbing is definitely not the code. I looked under it. They're holding up the structure with 2x8s, not up to code. There's no structure around it that's holding it up. No cinder blocks, no nothing holding it up. They have maneuvered it into with 2x8s holding it up, 3 2x8s holding up one corner of the house. The house is going to fall eventually. Like I said, the roofing here, that's another thing I want to address. There is multiple leak marks in the ceiling, which tells me that there's leaking coming from the ceiling from the roof somewhere, somehow. Also, I did some investigation. The joists that are coming from the ceiling, those are completely rotted out. Those will have to be taken down as well and redone to match code. It looks like someone tried to rehab it before. That was probably a handyman. It was not a contractor. So this is the problems you're running into. There's no straps or anything that would bring it up to code on that magnitude. What else can we get into? I mean, there's so much. All of the detail work from the outside needs to be replaced. Like I said, every floor in here needs to be replaced. It's all rotted away. Your major concerns, your major things here that would very concern me is your electrical, plumbing, the mold at first. That's one thing you're gonna have to do. That's, like I said, it's gonna be very expensive. But that pretty much narrows it down to exactly what it is. It's just all your major components in here all have to be updated and all have to be completely redone. So this is me giving you my evaluation. I hope it helps you in your further process of owning the property, and I thank you for your time.
Your personal recommendation, do you think this is a tear down or
yes,
rehab?
I would tear this down. I would not rehab it. If you try to rehab it, you're going to spend more money in materials and you're going to spend more money in labor than you're probably at least a quarter or half of what you would spend to build a new building on top of this. There's just so much time that's going to go into this. There's so much money. You're literally going to have to take this complete building down to a flat surface, which you're basically going to have to knock it down anyways, because everything here, you cannot rebuild this to code and just scab it up, as we like to say in the industry, just scab it up to another board. You can't do that here. Here you're going to have to literally wipe out the whole building, and the only thing you're going to have left is the structure, but you're still going to have to now bring in a structure company to come in here, which is going to cost you maybe, I don't know, $35,000 just to get this house settled, and that's just for the front of the house. Now we're going to the back of the house. Now you got 3 properties that need all structure redone. So my personal opinion that I would say in the 20 years that I've been doing this is to level this, start fresh, make sure everything's up to code. You're on a great piece of property on 5th Avenue. Everybody passes by here when they go home from work. So you have it's a fantastic property. Just the land alone is what you want. This house, I hate to say it, I like to rehab classical houses, but this is beyond fixable. I can't stress to you anymore, this is just beyond fixable. And anybody that tells you that it's different, I wouldn't believe them. It's just going to take too much time and too much materials too much labor to do this. It's going to end up in the day, it's going to cost you more, most likely, than it would be just to tear down and rebuild it. And then two, on top of it, there's a lot of materials here that you can recycle and that you can make more money off of, saying the copper tubing, all of the steel that is in here. You know, a lot of people will buy some of these old beams and these fixtures because they like the historic value of them. So with that in mind, think of that. That's another added bonus if you level it down. But to rebuild it, in my honest opinion, my professional opinion, I would not even attempt to rebuild it.